and welcome to the Lunchbox. My name is Lou, and I'm joined by everyone.
Sup?
Today is a special episode because it's our season finale. So, how's everybody feeling today?
Pretty damn good.
Pretty good. Starting to get really cold.
Yes, it's cold and rainy. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Seasons change.
Uspa?
I'm fine.
But we're gonna keep it almost like a regular show, so we're gonna start off with some news and stuff.
Woo.
Alrighty, so PlayStation users beware, we saw something recently. If your messages aren't private, you might be getting some messages that you may not want. PlayStation users have been getting messages which basically lock their system, so don't open any strange messages that aren't from your friends. Stay safe.
Following up on the video game topic, Mario Party 10 has just come out and released on the Nintendo Switch. It seems to be taking over the Nintendo world by storm with more characters that you can play, such as Boo and Toadette, and some more, I believe, characters like Bowser Jr., I believe. The mini games are being very well received. Plus now you can move your Switch with other people's Nintendo Switches on tables to have a whole new experience. So far, so good, and I'm looking forward to getting one myself. Next up, in a more cinematic field, we are gonna talk a little bit about Venom and how that's being received. Yeah, that's pretty much the result, is I'm personally not a crazy big fan of it. Will I still go to the theaters and see it? I don't know. Maybe on a matinee day. I'm not giving. Yeah.
Wait for it now.
No,
Theaters.
Theaters.
The big thing is that it's not 19 plus, which a lot of people were a bit iffy on.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
That's what pissed them off.
we don't want to see Venom rip heads off. And it's like,
That's what Venom does, though.
Yeah, a
We want that.
PG-13 Venom just doesn't hold anything in my
it
book.
worked for Deadpool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When they came out with that little trailer, so Deadpool's gonna be PG-13, I'm like, no, it's not. Stop it right now.
And if you guys went on Rotten Tomatoes, it was a 31% rating for the critics, which is absolutely terrible. It
Awful.
did better than the Spider-Man vs. Superman,
Yeah, or Superman versus Batman,
which was also very
which
bad.
was also very bad. But the audience rating was what, like 88%?
Yeah,
Something
which is
crazy
really
like
good.
that.
That's
So
very drastically different.
I'm wondering if maybe that's mostly the teenagers that are allowed in the theaters for this film and they don't actually know Venom the character.
I think a lot of people love Venom from the comics and they've got a misconception of him. And maybe these people that are reviewing this movie know nothing about Venom because literally what they showed is not Venom.
No.
It's got the symbiote, but doesn't have the gravitas that the origin of Venom actually has. There's no Peter Parker reference, there's no Spider-Man, there's no rejection.
There's no Flash Thompson.
Yeah, so it's just a very, it's a new take and it's a different take, and maybe it's just one of these flicks that people like to eat popcorn with.
That's
but
true.
it's not going to hold a candle to anything that the MCU has already done.
Yeah.
Or, in comparison to Spider-Man 3, Venom there and Venom now. So in comparison, that kind of
Yeah, I guess it's
that could be
closer
different.
maybe to what people know as Venom, but Spider-Man 3 was notoriously the worst of the Spider-Man movies, so if this Venom movie is a little bit better, that's still not saying much. But hey, I guess if people enjoyed it, they enjoy it, right?
That
Each his
Peter
own.
Parker
That's
still gives me nightmares.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, and another thing about the Venom movie is the way they say symbiote. They say it differently, and I don't know why. It bugs. Symbiote or something?
Symbiote, yes.
symbiote.
So we saw a bit of Star Wars stuff happening recently, and I think Andre might know a bit more about that.
Yeah, if you know me, I am kind of like the biggest Star Wars fan, but I'm an old school Star Wars fan, so this news has me kind of excited, and it is announced finally when the Disney live-action Star Wars series is coming out. And it's being helmed by Jon Favreau. You may know him from several movies. Most notably in my book is Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2. And the name of this series is called The Mandalorian. So think Boba Fett, think Jango Fett, think those cool guys in badass armor. But they're gonna set this one after episode 6, in between 7, and they're going for more of that Western lone gunman thing. Now, they haven't said exactly who the character is going to be, but Dave Filoni, the guy behind Rebels and Clone Wars, is going to be helming the first episode and producing part of the series. So I'm hoping it ties to Rebels, which was absolutely fantastic, and I think he's going to give a little bit of gravitas to this series. He's all about character and he gets Star Wars. So I'm cautiously optimistic because I am one of those guys that dislikes 7 and 8. And I don't want to get myself too excited, but that first pick that we've seen of The Mandalorian looks absolutely cool.
I'm already excited.
Love it.
So no Jar Jar Binks?
He could be under that helmet.
What if they just redid Jar Jar into the most badass character? Just to
And kind of be okay with that.
You know, there is
I think I'd be okay with that too.
But then he'll still talk the way he does, and it just ruins everything.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess that's all we have for news and stuff. When we come back, it's gonna be Hey You Guys, but it's gonna be us.
Us?
We're gonna ask each other questions so you guys get to know us a little more better, and instead of just seeing our faces and talking like, who are these? I mean, guys.
Peeps. Who are these?
Bleeps. What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Lunchbox, and this is gonna be our little tour of where we do. All right, follow me. That's the master control area. Take a look. Lunchbox plays in one of those channels. It's FTV, but you know what I mean. We're not allowed in there right now, so let's go. We are gonna go to Studio 1, which is green screen. Bathroom, not that you need to know where the bathroom is. Maybe you do when you come by. Check it out. This is the green screen area. This is where we film some stuff. What else do we film here, James?
all sorts of live events.
No, just Lunchbox stuff. We do, what do we do? We do the shit we've never eaten here before. The 50-second reviews are here. Yeah, and a bunch of things, and green screen, so when I do this, I am something else. Should have worn another shirt, but all right, let's go. So we're going to Studio 2. This is the makeup room. It's okay, you can see James. Say hi, James.
Hi, James.
This is Asha and Rebecca's favorite room in the entire building. Superior lighting. Yeah, it's cool. And this is where most of the magic happens. As you can see, the Lunchbox is playing. This is where we have the stage right now. It looks weird. All the cameras are there, other stuff. We got a piano. If you can play a piano, that's good. We got a fan because Uspa and I sweat profusely. Right now we don't have the setup because I'm just showing you the tour. It's actually, you know, if you want to perform stuff. For Hey You Guys, if you're gonna play stuff, you can play here, but not right now. All right, moving on. Yeah, most of our DIY stuff we shoot here. There's Uspa, and there's Kimberly, and there's Warren. And right now, our podium is being used as something else. Uspa's work stuff is there. Yeah, so this is Uspa.
You gotta wear some.
He's working on something big. Don't worry. At you. Let's move on. Let's go to Uspa's office, where he's That's wait till later. 3D printer. We're gonna be 3D printing something special. And this little dude too. James, come on. And my office is in here. Look, ideas for season 2. You know what I mean? Filbert is in there. My office is in there, so, but they're filming right now, so. Come on, James. Say hi to them. Say hi to them. And that's it, I guess. That's the end of the tour. Peace out. Thank you for staying with us for this first season. We're gonna do more bigger and crazier things for season 2. And that's it for their little tour. Goodbye, James. And Sophia's calling me. Welcome back, and in Hey You Guys, it's us getting to know us. So we're gonna start, everybody's gonna ask everybody a question, and we're gonna start off with Ash.
So I was curious about Andre. I only met him a few times near the end of the season. I'm kind of curious, what did you expect coming in? Like, what did you expect the place to look like? What were you expecting to do?
Well, I actually didn't expect to be at the studio and stuff because Lou approached me to do reviews in the store. So comic talk and stuff like that. And it was only supposed to be twice a month. And then I had the opportunity to talk to them, and I came to the studio and I'm like, whoa, this is a big operation, a lot bigger than I thought. And I thought after seeing their camera equipment and then seeing the studio, it was kind of nice to be like, whoa, these guys are legit. Yeah, they're serious. Yep.
That was definitely super cool. I didn't expect any of this for sure. Wow, definitely. I have a question for Uspa now. I'm curious, I didn't take you as a DIY kind of guy when I first met you. I'm curious how you got into that. What kind of drove your motivation to make like a Zelda lamp and stuff like that?
I was broke, so I couldn't afford the merchandise because I was in Mother Russia. And in Mother Russia, the merchandise is really expensive. Plus, you cannot actually get it if you're not from civilized part of Russia, I would call it. Moscow, some Petersburg, pretty big cities. So you get yourself a brick, a hacksaw, and you make yourself a lamp.
I like that. Very crafty. Now Lou, of course, you were the one who contacted me at the very beginning.
Yes.
I'm very curious how kind of all of this came about. What kind of sparked you to be like, turn this into an idea, into I'm gonna initiate a big production?
Funny you should ask, because we were actually outside. It was April, right? And then
Too long. Let me tell you a story of Lunchbox. It was April. We were sitting outside. No. I think we were standing. Yes, we were standing. And I asked Lou. Lou! I said, what, bro? I said, man, we should make our own show. Yeah, man, I think you're right. I was actually talking to Gian about that a while ago. Yeah, we did. Okay, let's do that. Alright, man. You and me can host, but we need more people because it's super cool like that. Hey, Nina, I'm gonna start the gig type show. Wanna join? Oh yeah, dude, woo! I'm totally down. Alright, now I'm gonna totally find more people. Facebook and Instagram. Click, click, swipe, 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 click. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah, yo. Did you find more people? Oh yeah, man. I messaged a bunch of people, 3 people in particular. Responded almost within a minute of each other. It's like a sign or something. Click, 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 swipe, click, click. So, What did they say? Okay, I like this. I'm down. I'm gonna call my friend and see if she wants to join. Hey friend, did you see my message? Oh yeah, I'm down, let's do this. Yay! Dabs. I don't know these guys, but they seem cool and legit. I'm down too.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Now, Rebecca, of course. We started together on the show. I don't know if you remembered, but do you remember what you were doing when I messaged you?
What was I doing when you messaged me? Oh God. I think I was in the middle of work, actually. Fun fact, I work at a bakery. So I think I was baking cookies. And after, like, I get a little bit of a break and I saw the message, I kind of had a freak out. And my boss was like, what the frick is going on? Are you okay? And I'm like, I think I might be on a TV show or something, or like a YouTube thing. I don't know, but this is pretty cool. And then my cookies almost burned.
Love it.
So, but yeah, I think that's what's going on.
All right, so I think you've done hosting before, I can tell. Or maybe you're in front of the camera. So what else do you do in your spare time?
Now, I'm very big into cosplay. Now, I haven't really done hosting per se, but I'm definitely very familiar with being in front of a camera. Yeah, that's not very elaborate, but
Something.
All right. So, Uspa. We met and talked a lot at Fan Expo, and I had the impression that you were basically in your happy place. Was that would you say, an accurate description of your first Fan Expo experience?
Yes.
Lou. So Lou's the guy I interact most with here at the show, and we've had many times to dialogue, but he's also an old school comic book fan, and I think this is probably where some of the show idea came from. So I want to ask you, with all the stuff that you've done with the show, would you say that you are more likely to get back into comics, or is it you like to keep your relics of the 90s alive?
Funny you should ask. Oh no, there's no skit. It's just funny you should ask. I actually started buying more stuff after like some of your reviews actually, and then I asked for some advice from like the one with Jerome Opeña. I started reading that.
Nice, Seven to
Eternity, and I'm sort of like kind of reading back and forth, like your stuff and then some stuff, older stuff I haven't read. So I've actually been reading more comics.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So Rebecca, quirky owl cosplay?
Yes.
That name definitely has an origin.
Yes. It's not at all that I'm quirky and I like owls and that I cosplay. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's why I chose the name.
Really?
I've always just been like a weird, quirky person, and
Curious owl cosplay.
No.
Conspicuous owl cosplay.
No.
like just because quirky. That's just first thing that came up to you was that.
Pretty much. I don't know. I think when I chose my cosplay name, I was really into Doctor Who. And quirky to me seems more like a British kind of term. I don't know why it seems more like a British term. I think at some point in time, David Tennant said quirky, and I was like, that's my word, quirky. And I just really like owls. They're like one of my all-time favorite animals of all time. Like, whenever someone says, what kind of exotic pet would you always like ever own? I'm not like a panther or anything like that. I'm like, no, I just want an owl. Doesn't have to be like a big snowy owl, just like a little pygmy owl. I'd be happy.
Nice.
Cute.
And then,
see, there's a story.
And I cosplay. That's like the elaborate version of my simple, I'm quirky, I like owls and I cosplay. That's it. People actually have gotten that question a lot of times. I've not changed my name though. Like,
Asha,
Yes.
have you ever rejected the offers like you made to run a show or?
In general, a lot, because it's weird being an online personality of sorts. You get a lot of suspicious offers. There was, I'm not gonna name them, but there was a lens company which was sponsoring me for a little bit.
oh, I remember this story.
That was a bit of a ride for me. Now, they were legitimate. They did sell contacts, and I did get nice colored contacts out of it. They're not like the best quality, but like they did the trick, essentially. Partway through our interactions, they just suddenly came out with, I'll give you $100 for naked pictures of you. And I was like, is this a lens company? Like, what is this? But yeah, definitely there's a lot of weird, suspicious offers that I'm like, no. Lots of rejection.
It's like, let's go to the woods in the middle of the night to chop wood.
I guess, and it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not a lumberjack.
Maybe Canadian, but
Yeah,
yeah.
what can you do?
Okay. As we all know, you're running a small comic book shop. It's not really small, it's kind of big. Technically. Tell us the most desperate story from that shop. In terms of the customers, or your personal, or...
So,
I'm just really curious. Do the people cry in comic book stores?
do people? Yeah, you know, believe it or not, you get a lot of kids that want what their parents don't want to buy them. And there's a lot of screaming kids. But I would probably say one of the funniest and most desperate stories in recent times was I had Ken Lashley at the store for Free Comic Book Day. And he was doing sketches and giving out free stuff. And we had to cut the line because he was drawing for like 7 hours straight. And a lady had gotten a really nice sketch from him, and then she lined back up and wanted one for her brother. And Ken was gracious enough to do it, and he drew Loki, which was like her favorite character. And this customer's mother was there, and the mother was like, oh, thanks, can you make it out to Steven, my son? And the girl like flipped. She was like, no, I was gonna take this one. And Ken's like, no, this was for your brother and stuff. And Ken really like was giving the jabs to her and saying, come to Fan Expo, I'll do you another one. And she was like, no, I want this one and stuff. And I've never seen a grown woman cry until that moment, but it was fun. It was pretty funny, so.
Okay, Lou, what we have in stock in season 2?
Well, it's kind of too early to tell, but basically what we have now, but even better. So we're gonna, I guess, sometime soon, we're gonna talk about what we can do, how to make it better, how to get bigger, and still enjoy what we're doing.
Mrs. Rebecca, how many wigs do you own?
How many wigs do I own?
Because every time I see you, it's different hair color.
To be fair, this is my real hair.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes, I did it myself.
We'll do testing.
But, oh God. I feel like the shame is now weighing on my shoulders for how many wigs I own, because I own so many wigs.
Let's rephrase it. Are you preparing to go bald?
No.
Okay, so...
Although I may have considered shaving my head at some point, so then wigs would fit better for my cosplay.
Wow, that's dedication.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's also something empowering about, like, a woman with shaved head. But at the same time, like, I like my hair. But essentially, you know those, like, nice big Fan Expo bags that they gave out at the convention when you had the deluxe pass? I have one of those, filled to the top and overflowing with wigs.
Ash. Ash.
Hello.
We've talked about, like, you've lived in many countries before.
I have.
Where was your favorite?
Ooh, that's really hard. At this point, I've been to about 30 countries.
Top 3.
This is hard. Okay, I would say Nepal is probably my #1.
Okay.
Slightly biased because I'm half Nepalese, but also the Himalayas are incredible. Highly suggest you go take a little trek down there. My second favorite, I feel like I'm gonna name everything from that general region because I'd go like India and Bangladesh as well. I don't know, I just love the culture in generally Southeast Asia. It's really nice. I like it.
Andre, your all-time favorite artist, comic book artist.
Ooh.
You already know my answer.
Yeah,
so.
I know. There's so many great artists, and especially I've become friends with a lot of my kind of icons and stuff. But I would, damn, like, okay, I would probably have to give it up to. I hate to do it. Not that I hate to do it, but okay, so my favorite comic book series of all time is Planetary. And that was written by Warren Ellis and his team up with John Cassaday. And I think it's because of the melding of the two. It was like the two of them worked to create a perfect series, in my opinion. So I would say he's probably, because it's my favorite series, the two of them working together, he becomes my favorite artist. Now, this is gonna sound weird, but some of his other art I'm not so crazy about, like when he does a lot of cover work and stuff, but again, I would put him up there for that.
Did you like his work on Astonishing?
Yeah, his work on Astonishing was also top-notch. But yeah, there's so many great artists, but I think it's just something special about when you get two people that are just totally in sync like that.
Awesome. Last comic book you read?
Gone.
How far back?
Way back.
Like
A month.
what?
A month ago.
So but didn't you say you read Spawn already before? You're
I forgot.
Spawn?
I forgot, so I read it.
Okay, that's easy enough.
Sup?
Let's see. Favorite Disney movie? Wait, do you like Disney?
I do like Disney.
Favorite Disney movie?
Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. I'm only going to say that because I have an obsession with Alice in Wonderland. My tattoo on my right shoulder is actually a quote from Alice in Wonderland. And I really enjoy Tim Burton and all of his antics and art. So the live action Alice in Wonderland was really cool. The classic animation one is also kind of funky and fun, but I'm like, give me the twisted dark stuff. So yeah.
I love Tim Burton too.
Great. What can I ask you that I don't already know about you?
Exactly.
Asha, who is your waifu?
Oh no.
Let the secret be revealed. For all who don't know, waifus are like a female and husbando is a male anime character typically, which you have an obsession with. So, who's your waifu?
Okay, now, I'm not a huge fan of like the whole school idol type thing. Like Love Live is super, super big, and I was really into it for like a short period of time, but this one girl from it stuck with me, and I still love her to pieces. I have so many figurines of her. I don't have figurines of any of the other characters. I just have so many different versions of this one character. It's Katori Minami from Love Live.
Would be Katori.
But like,
it would be Katori.
I love her.
That's fair. Andre. Who is your favorite supervillain?
Supervillain.
Villain.
Okay, so this is pretty simple. I think there's one guy that is just the epitome of what a supervillain should be, and that's Dr. Doom. He is literally a monarch of his country. He's super smart technology-wise. He's a master of magic, outsmart Reed Richards, and just downright smart and not just a crazy villain. You know, I think there's too many crazy villains, but Dr. Doom, he's a force to be reckoned with. Like, he stole the power of the Silver Surfer. You know, this guy is just, he's on point.
He is.
And if done well, like, I think he's one of these guys that, you know, he can take down pretty much anybody.
Yep, I can definitely see that. I like Dr. Dr. Vandal.
Victor Von.
He just like snapped Thanos' spine, or he just took it.
Yeah.
And he has a cape.
Yep.
And he has a
Cape.
cape.
Nice green cape.
Uspa. What is your favorite video game? If you've played video games, I don't know, you made a Legend of Zelda lamp, so I figure you must like video games.
For the past 5 years, I would say one of my best, not best, loved ones games is, I would say Witcher 3. But if we go back in time, I would say Devil May Cry, the third one. That was really stylish. And but nothing special, but I loved it.
Yeah. Games hold a special place in our hearts.
Yes.
My question is, how did you come to find Asha and decide to reach out to her? I've been wanting to ask this for like forever. But yeah, like how did you find her and decide that, this person seems pretty cool, I'd like to bring her on?
I was also wondering about that.
See?
I kind of just never asked. I just accepted it as like a...
The truth must be revealed, Lou.
It just happened.
The day that we figured that we wanted to the show, we all went on Instagram. And what hashtag did we use again? Because we were like, we need somebody geeky, and we were like, cosplayers cosplay, and they should know enough geeky stuff. So what we did was just randomly looked at cosplayers that are from Toronto. And we had a list. It was a list of like 15 to 20, I think. And I messaged every single one. There was a few that messaged back, but it was like in that story, it was when you kind of messaged within like 5 minutes of each other, that I was like, all right, I'm gonna stick with these guys. And then that was it. It was like, then we started talking. We were still getting like messages and stuff, and when we talked to you guys, it was like, yeah, it was just something about it. It was like, they're cool. They're camera ready-ish. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. That was it. Because you were always there when I was doing this. Huh. Not saying anything, but just be like, oh yeah. That was it.
Hashtags are important.
Hashtags are so important, people.
Cosplayers of Toronto.
Cosplayers.
Or Toronto cosplayers.
I use Toronto cosplayers.
I always use that.
See?
And then
it works.
Like, just a bunch of people and like message. If you guys kind of look at anybody else that it's all the same message for every single cosplayer. Hi, my name is Lou. Blah 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 blah. And that's it.
Nice. Cool.
That's it.
It's a unique approach.
See?
Yeah.
Hashtags are important, people.
And that's it for Hey You Guys. This is pretty much everyone except for Nina, who had to cancel last minute because Microsoft is sending her to Seattle to do cool stuff. But I talked to her earlier. She really felt bad that she couldn't be here, but you'll see more of her in season 2. And up next, we're gonna have Andre's top books of this summer.
This summer had a ton of great books, and it's going to be really hard to narrow that down to just a couple. But as always, I'm prepared and I know exactly what I liked, and hopefully you had a chance to check out some of these big books. First up, I'd have to give it to Thor #1, drawn by my good friend Mike Del Mundo and written by Jason Aaron. This is the 3rd time these two have worked together, and it definitely shows. The art in this book was absolutely fantastic, and if you follow the God of Thunder, you know that he's no longer worthy of his hammer Mjolnir, so he goes to the dwarves in order to make him some new weapons of destruction. And in issue #1, he goes toe-to-toe with the Juggernaut and just clocks that right out. Once and for all, we know that Thor is greater than the unmovable Juggernaut. DC dropped probably the hottest Batman book of all time, and it had some controversy because we saw Batman's little Batwang, but don't let that dissuade you. This book, Batman Damned, was damn incredible. Drawn by an amazing artist, very talented Libre Mejo, and written by one of the best writers in comics, Brian Azzarello, and they've teamed up for a second time to tell a story of the Joker's demise. That's right, somebody has murdered the Clown Prince of Crime, and it's up to Batman to figure it out. Batman gets to team up with a new take on Zatanna, John Constantine, and the Dead Man. It's book 1 of 3, and unfortunately right now that book is shot up and sold out. So if you want to get yourself a copy, you're going onto that secondary market. But make sure you jot down that name and maybe you can grab it in hardcover or trade paperback. My all-time favorite book of the summer that I didn't expect to like was Doctor Strange from Marvel Comics. Now, I loved him in Avengers Infinity War, and I really dug his solo movie as well. But in this series by Marvel Comics, Dr. Stephen Strange didn't have access to magic, so going to Tony Stark, he gets a new idea. Stark launches him into space to try and find artifacts from other planets. And the Doctor teams up with a space archaeologist, and together they actually loot and pillage magical objects in order to recharge the Doctor. So we've got a Stephen Strange who's depowered. He's a little bit on the run because, you know, he's stealing magic artifacts. But this book written by Mark Waid was fantastic. We really got a take on the Doctor. He's really humble. And by the end of the series, issue 5, he gets a brand new costume, which is totally dope, and some magical weapons that he forges himself. You got to check this book out. It's definitely not the Doctor Strange you know, but it is absolutely incredible. And in issue 6, he comes back to Earth and he comes face to face with himself. I'm going to leave it at that because this book is worth the read. So there we have it, a couple of books to check out. But again, as I said, there's so many great books to come out this summer, but those happen to be my favorite 3.
Well, thank you for joining us at the Lunchbox. We have all these amazing people. Make sure to watch out for season 2. That'll be super exciting and better than ever. And of course, catch up on the season, see what you've missed. Make sure to follow our social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Great big thanks to Shirt Punch for our lovely t-shirts. We got some Lunchbox swag, so big thanks to them.
Great quality, great shirts.
Check them out. And yeah, thanks so much for joining us, you guys. We had a blast.
Yes, we did.
I would hope you guys had a blast. Thanks.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
I don't know, just you're sitting here like this. So probably
Good job, by the way.
that she's gonna be
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, so what
Segment of Hey You Guys, and joining Raquel and I here. Take a look.
Back to the Lunchbox in our little podium build.
bring the brightness up a little bit while you're panning the camera.
Holes in the screens.
We have that.
Yes. It's like a tube of epoxy.
The Lunchbox in our little IDYI segment.
Yeah, like
Whatever.
Slick? Yeah.
James, you hold them up.
Yeah, and the one that's like number one right now is like 7 years now. It's like a little thing. It looks pretty tiny, and then good practice, guys.
Nice. Rolling.